Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Market Insights with Linux, and welcome to this new video in which I wanted to do a full market overview. All right, so now that's obviously going to be impossible to check out the entire market, but this is a bit of a new concept I thought of, which I think is most valuable to most of you. Basically going over the most important news events of the last 24 hours and also today, right? So this calendar day, which is the 1st of May. And I wanted to talk about some opportunities, what's going on, what should you know about the markets at least. And basically make a video about that, all right? So you have a bit of an idea of what today means and what the possibilities are over the course of today. And there are some things we need to talk about. So let's get right into it. The first thing I wanted to talk about, which you can see on the screen right now, is earnings, all right? Yesterday, post-market, we had earnings coming in for Microsoft and Meta. Both of them beat expectations, all right? Microsoft by 7.5%, Meta by a shocking 21%, which basically is in line with most of the earnings data we've seen in the last week, with Tesla being the main exception. Obviously, Tesla did not beat their earning estimates, and that also... that did not really stop price from rallying. But if we take a look at Microsoft and Meta right here, they've done incredibly well. The markets are opening in about 5 minutes. You can see Microsoft is trading at 429, where it closed at 395. And if you take a look at Meta, I think Meta went parabolic as well, where it's at 590, where we closed at 550. Now both of them, and that's also what I want to talk about a little bit later when we talk about the general market. So I wanted to end this video with an S&P 500 analysis. Both of these tickers here, so both Meta and Microsoft, are at major resistance levels. And even though short term, I think we can push slightly higher. So for Meta, that would be 600. And for Microsoft, that would be this area right here between 440 and 450. I do not see enough strength yet in the general markets for the prices to push above that. All right. So with that, I want to issue a small warning that even though this is obviously great, and I do think, looking at Microsoft and Meta, they've been able to reclaim back into ranges that they were in for the majority of 2024. So far, at least, as you can see, from January until we broke down the beginning of March. So we have gotten back into those areas, and that's obviously great. That's good news. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we will break out and continue rallying up again, like we had until the 11th of July 2024. And by the way, this range is much longer. Excuse me, it's January 2024 until March 2025. And we actually have some more earnings data today. We have Apple and Amazon. Those are the two biggest ones. And then the main thing that I was shook off a little bit, because you can see Q2 earnings here for Apple. That has to be a mistake. But if we take a look at Amazon, I have an active analysis on. Apple I don't. You can see Amazon is also trading at that major resistance level. A lot of the stock market right now is very correlated, where basically they're at those at very similar resistance zones. However, for Amazon, it looks a little bit better. I think if we actually get some good earnings data, which would be expected if you believe all the other earnings data so far, I think we're able to reclaim this area right here at around 190. And that would be very good news, because that opens up the way towards 204. But potentially, if the markets remain relatively stable, also for a move into 212 and 216. So Amazon, I think, look, obviously Microsoft and Meta is amazing, but I think Amazon also has the potential to do great things over the course of today. Definitely a stock to keep your eyes on. Now, outside of that, moving on from earnings, today we have some economic data. We have jobless claims, as you can see, that was higher than expected, which obviously it depends on the context, but in this context, I would still say that's most likely. We're looking to get rate cuts in May. That's probably not going to happen, but could it happen in June? That's a possibility. I think with this data, the probability to get rate cuts in June has increased, and that is at this point of time, the last time I checked at least, it's most likely that we'll get rate cuts then. We also have manufacturing PMI, as you can see right here. With that, we're also looking for lower than expected data to get some sort of an indication of economic slowdown. which also increases the possibility at rate cuts and potentially down the line quantitative easing, which would obviously be very, very bullish. But that is in about 15 minutes, so hopefully I'll get this video out before that. But keep your eyes on that. Short term could cause volatility. Long term, do I think it really will influence price action? No. Now, getting back to our big boss, the S&P 500. Like I said before, we're right now in pre-market. We're opening in about 2 minutes. We're at a major resistance zone, and this is also the main resistance zone we've talked about in my previous videos. We had a small balance, as you can see right here, from the 10th of March until the end of March. And the main level where all of this comes together is this level right here at 563, right? So that's 5,630. If you're taking a look at the general S&P, where with this we're looking at the SPDR, S&P 500 ETF. That's the main resistance level. All right, and we got some good news today with the US and Ukraine mineral deal. And in general, what you can see is that stability seems to be increasing. Volatility index opened lower. Gold is also still dropping down, even though it has found some support at a support level we indicated before. But ultimately, so that's in line with what we're seeing from the pre-market action right here. However, to get a breakout above this entire level, I think we'd need more strength for that. All right, and I do think that the general trend remains bullish, but I think at least short term, market just opened, at least short term we can move up slightly higher, but I do expect a pullback first before we're able to break out, probably next week if the fundamentals remain relatively similar. So then I'm talking about this gaining of stability in the market. But that's what I think you need to know about the markets today. All right, so be aware of all the earnings data coming in, be aware of the economic data coming in, and be aware of the current major resistance zone that the S&P 500 is at. That's what you need to know. If you do have any questions, make sure to ask me down in the comments or join the Telegram group we have for free. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Take care and bye.